All right, everyone. Gonna get rigged up here. Make sure everything that needs to be hidden is hidden. And then we are gonna go live. I'm gonna give people a few seconds just to get in. Again, I never know how many people watch these because I refuse to leave up the little counter because it might make me sad. Let's just tweet on the internet. And we'll just go. And let everyone know I'm live. All right. I think we are good, and some people are coming in. Strength alerts are killing it. They're doing well. They're doing well. That's one thing I got to do when I'm done here is pick the next week's one, and I'll actually show you guys something that's be pretty cool. Okay, now if I do this full cam, awesome. Okay, so for the people here now, and the people who are going to watch this later, if you guys are new and this is for you're just stumbling upon my channel or whatever, thank you everyone for coming. Basically, YouTube channel's about trading and algorithmic trading and all that, but once a week, hopefully more in the future, I go live. I basically do what my nightly process is live in front of everybody, show you guys what I do, what I'm looking at, answer questions, just hang out and chat. Another thing, so when I get to the scanning part, that's going to be the best time to ask questions. First, I like to take a look at the markets before I start just going through and scanning things. Feedback on the channel and everything, that's great to do here as well. We usually just turn the last little bit into a chill kind of conversation. Just like to say that what you're seeing right now is kind of the work that I put in every night over at statsedgetrading.com. So if you want to come over there and see what I do, there's a membership part that's called Stats Edge Pro, where basically I do the same thing that you're about to see, and I come up with a watch list every night, and I share that watch list with everyone. We have a Discord room where we hang out and chat throughout the day. Someone will say, "Hey, what do you think of this stock?" and I'll come in and answer that. We've got a live 2-hour Q&A with just pro members. Excuse me, where we talk about whatever. Usually I have something prepared, and then that's where I go through questions in detail. Like some questions I may take a half hour on, kind of thing. Lastly, you get access to all my scans. So for Trade Ideas and TrendSpider, which are my two trading platforms, you get access to all the scans that I use to find stocks. And that's what Stats Edge Pro is. So if you're interested, come check it out, and let's get into it. Also, new camera, hey? Quality. Look at that. Look, geez, someone can read my palm if you really wanted to. Isn't that crazy? It's my iPhone. I just saw someone online. It says, "Hey, you're carrying your best phone in your pocket. Why don't you use that?" And I had this old shitty Logitech thing I've been using forever. But look, you can see how old I'm getting too. All right, enough dicking about. Let's get into it. So, boom. Okay. Now, what I like to do first, again, you guys have probably noticed I've been laying off these short videos, and a lot of it just has to do with the fact that they're not getting watched very much. So very much, I like to. I go by what you guys want to see. So if you guys want to see more live content, go into the live content and like it and share it and all that kind of stuff and comment on it. If you guys like more of those short videos, do the same, right? Like it, share it, all that kind of stuff. Because I'm a data guy, as anyone knows with trading with me. I look at what people like to watch, and then I just do more and more and more of that. So let's get into. But that's one thing that rant was just to tell you that's kind of what I like to look at first. The ones that I hate called, but the ones that I did this week and kind of how they're going. So if we go and look at what was the beginning of the week? Open 11th. So the one I published on the 9th would have been valid too. So on the 9th, I published IMGN. I can tell you right now, I'm not in this yet. IMGN, I'm just waiting still. Basically, the theory behind this one was we've got this kind of sideways chop with a 12% short float. And if you guys Google this, if you have time and you're interested, remind me when I'm done this at the end of the stream, and I'll talk about the Wyckoff bottom. And you can see that that's kind of what we have going on here. Again, it's just basically a bear trap. So I'm just seeing if we can kind of get and hold over this $6 area. That's where I'll be interested. And then I talked about the anchored VWAP on the SPY. Won't talk about that. And then UPST, which was by far my week maker and should have been for anyone in Stats Edge Pro who followed that. Just a monster of a move. So basically, we were just looking, again, we all know Upstart has been on fire recently. Even before this, if we go back on the chart, it's been on fire. Pulled back, held 300, and kind of put in this sideways base. I took it right here at the end of the day on that candle, and I actually sold my first bit right here as we kind of backed off 400, and we put in that topping tail, which was a little bit unnerving. So I just took half of the position off there, I think, and the rest I'm just going to trail behind that. And then the other one we put in is ARCH, which I'm in, but I'm not super happy about. So yeah, ARCH I'm in, and I knew this 100 was going to be a jerk, but at the end of this day right here, it was right poking above 100, and then it pulled back at the end of the day, and then it pulled back a bit more. So I've just got my stop under this area. That looks like it might not be the best one. So from those videos, one no trade, one amazing trade, one small loss. I talk about it all the time, right? All you need is a 50-50 win rate. Manage your risk accordingly. And the rest is history. So that is that. Those are the videos that I made. Now let's get into... is it that? Learning hotkeys. So let's get into some scanning. So first I'm going to go over crypto because that's kind of what's hot right now. Then we'll do Forex, stocks, and then I'll start scanning the market. So here's the crypto list that I watch. But let's start with the big guy first, right? The one that everyone's talking about. And that is Bitcoin, BTC, USD. Where's the one with all my markups that I've been sharing? Not that one. This one? Part of the problem is that there's just so many versions of it that never mind, I'll mark there we go for some reason. So this is kind of the stuff that I share. This is what my charts look like when I share it with the Stats Edge Pro people. I just mark them up and I share them every day with every new candle, and if I have a new thought on it, that's like this, right? And cup and handle target 70K. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about with Bitcoin. So, you know, I drew out this kind of cup and handle that everybody's been watching. I found it myself, but I watched, I think the guys at TrendSpider noticed it. There's been a whole handful of different people that have been on this particular cup and handle, which is a very powerful setup. I just want to make sure, move that and then move that just to make things more symmetrical. So yeah, so this cup and handle pattern's been super, super powerful recently. Again, cup and handle is basically you just have a bottoming kind of formation that you stay out of because, you know, it's better to trade in the direction of a trend. Then you get an uptrend higher and then a little bull flag. And then that's supposed to kind of be your second move. I talk about it all the time where I never try to grab the bottom, but I want to grab what I call the higher low play. All right, let the stock make its low, let it bounce, and then let it make a higher low and then get involved. Then you're not catching a falling knife. You're technically in the direction of a short-term trend, and it just makes life easier for sure. So with this, the one thing I don't see people really talking about is if you grab this line. So the target of a cup and handle is supposed to be from the bottom of the cup. I'm breaking everything. What are you doing? Here, there. Supposed to basically be this, but then drawn out from the breakout point of the handle. And that gets us to around 70 to 75K, which I think is going to kind of be on point. And the reasons I think that that's a potential is that I would be shocked if we just kind of crash from here. You know, Bitcoin likes to do these crazy runs, and those are the top, and then it falls back down. So I wouldn't be shocked if we're going to see a crazy run here in Bitcoin. And then, and I've told the guys in the room, this is what I'm doing. I'm long from this this cup and handle breakout, looking to lighten up a little bit. But if we get this run to 70, 75K, that's where I'll take most of my profits. And then if the Bitcoin ETF comes out, I'm going to be looking for shorts because simply, again, crypto people are crazy, so I don't want to piss anyone off, but I'm a trader, right? I figure if it goes from here to 100, that's like a double, which would be nice, but that's not. I think the 1,000, 10,000% returns from Bitcoin are kind of over. Now you could maybe get to 100,000, and that would be a little under a double, and then maybe from then in a couple of years 200,000, which would be about a double. But I think kind of in the crypto space, I'm going to treat it like stocks, where Bitcoin's going to be the index, and then I'm going to look for smaller cap kind of names. Now, why do I want to short if the Bitcoin ETF is approved? Well, if you go through history, and I don't have the exact date, so I won't do this, but when Bitcoin futures launched, that was a top. When Bitcoin, or when Coinbase launched, that was a top. When El Salvador started collecting Bitcoin, that was a top. Bitcoin has a history of buy the rumor, sell the news. This history kind of over and over and over again of buy the rumor, sell the news, buy the rumor, sell the news. And, it's so I'm going to keep doing that as long as it keeps working. Now, that doesn't mean I'm just going to, they say yes to a Bitcoin ETF and I'm just going to short. Everything I do has some sort of statistics and then technicals on top of it. So again, I think we're going to rocket through and we're going to crash through these highs and we're going to make another shot. But as we're making that other shot, I'm going to be looking for chances to sell. And as the ETF gets approved, I'm going to be looking for chances to short. Doesn't mean I'll do any of them. If the thing's just rocketing, I'm not just going to short. I've learned a long time ago, you just don't short Bitcoin. You just don't just put out an order and just short it, right? You have to wait for it to move. And you guys, if you've been following for any length of time, you know that I got short in through here, that I bought a bit of Bitcoin on this bounce, right? I just trade them. So that's kind of my thinking overall with Bitcoin. Is obviously bullish. There's no logic that you could make to say that this is some sort of a bearish pattern, but not super insanely bullish. I don't think we're getting these FOMO runs. Seem to be less and less kind of every time. Ethereum's interesting. I like to just draw these little boxes for a resistance area. So we've got this resistance at what is it, 4,000. As kind of a fundamental thing, and I don't trade off fundamentals, but I'm more of a interested in kind of the Ethereum blockchain more than the Bitcoin. I'm totally a believer that Bitcoin is going to be your crypto gold, where it's in my mind it's better than gold for gold things, where it's actually scarce. Gold is artificially scarce. All of these things make perfect sense to me, right? It's 2021. No one's going to be transacting in gold anymore, but Bitcoin maybe. How does it blur out the... This just wilded me. I'm a tech nerd. I'm sorry. ADA is one that I'm watching. Cardano. We've got a clear level here that we've got to close above and call it like $2.30. So above $2.30, I'm going to be in. Stop's going to be around $2. I really like the look of this one. Algorand and Atom are both interesting. So I've been watching this Algorand for a while. I'm actually in Atom, where I talked about, again, to the Stats Edge Pro people, a few times. Every time it's kind of dipped into this area here, I've taken a long in Atom. Again, I have no idea what the hell it does, but 3 times in a row, I've taken a trade on this one. The last 2 times worked out. We'll see if this one works out as well. At some point, I'm looking for this downtrend line to break and for us to kind of continue. If I do the same kind of measure move analysis here, where I say, okay, from here to there, and then I put that on the breakout, that brings us up to $60, and I'm in from 30. I'll take that, right? And that would be as good, if not better, as Bitcoin going to 100K for me. So I'm watching this. Always watching these ones. Anything that holds over these areas is interesting to me. Hey, Sam. And I always encourage, there's a lot of, I know I do this, and there's a couple crypto people that follow me, but I'm not big in any space, but I'm definitely not big in the crypto space. But I always encourage, see, we're moving up as we speak. I always encourage people to, even if you have only like $200 kicking around, open up a Bitcoin account with it. Someone just asked me what I use. For me, I use Kraken. The reason has nothing to do with anything other than I've been using them for years. They allow margin trading. They allowed shorting, so I can trade short. Oh, no worries, Peter. I'm definitely not one, as someone who's dyslexic. I'm not one to ever yell at anybody about their spelling, but I always, like, people are like, oh, I've got all my money in my equity trading account. I don't have the cash to open up a crypto account. I always say, again, if you got a grand somewhere, put that into a Kraken account and just start trading small. The beauty of crypto is you can trade super. You could put $100 in there. My dad, I got him to put $1,000 into Kraken. And he's just playing around, right? It's not going to change his life, but I think, and again, as I'm going through these, all of these are different cryptocurrencies, just like we have a bunch of different stocks. I don't know what any of these do, nor do I care, because there is no halting. There is no. I was actually looking to short this one, but I couldn't. However, I may look to buy over this resistance. Again, I don't know what any of these do, but they're all liquid, right? They all trade. So, geez, what the hell happened with Keep? I don't even know what the hell Keep is. See, I don't know what any of these things are. But this one rocketed. Now it's pulling back. So I may actually look to take a trade here if we can get back into 60 cents. Like, this doubled in one day. If you're looking at these charts and you're saying these are moving, or you're thinking these are moving like small caps, it's because I think they are. Right? I don't think there's any difference between something like this and small cap equities. And as soon as I started to think of them like that, and I want to credit JC from All Star Charts to talk about these, because he started saying the same thing a long time ago. He's like, man, I just treat these like small caps, and I trade them like small caps. And I'm starting to do the same thing, like Litecoin. Litecoin's crap, in my opinion. However, right, if we kind of break over this area, if we're above 200, I think you can probably be long Litecoin. If you're under 200, you get the hell back out. Could the thing go to 4 and make a run at all-time highs? Sure. right? You put $1,000 in there, and again, they move like. I don't have like an affiliate link or anything, but yeah, it's just right here. It's just kraken.com. Right. Again, it's not. I'm adding more to the account. Actually, I'm visiting my accountant this weekend. I'm adding more. I'm going to put in another, I think, 10 or 15K into my crypto account because things are working well. You know that it's, and by working well, I mean they trade well. And then for me, everyone goes, oh, but the 24-hour trading would drive me nuts or whatever. But let's look at this one, which I'm interested in. Anytime, right? I put these notes. Again, these are the charts that the Stats Edge Pro people see every night. Oh, that's not that. That's not what I wanted to put there. I wanted to take this, and I wanted to put this. Let's try that again. There we go. So with Kraken anyway, and I'm sure you can with the rest of them, with MINA, again, I'm going to put another, I think, either 10 or 15,000 Canadian over in that on this weekend. And essentially what's going to happen is I will put out a stop limit around this $5 that I'm interested in. And then I can tell Kraken, if I get traded in this position, put out a stop. And I'll probably put out a stop, around 4 or 350 or whatever. And then that's it, right? I will set my alerts in TrendSpider. So for example, I can show you how to do that, where I can just say, hey, I'll put in $5, and then you just right click and click create alert. And then I will just say, hey, if a 10-minute or a 30-minute bar closes above that, then alert me. And that combined with the order I have out basically means that I don't have to watch this position other than this once a night that I do this analysis, in which I'm basically going to say, hey, this is what I want to trade if it's going to happen. Buy it, put out a stop loss. TrendSpider will alert me that it's happening. And then I just go on my phone. Like I'm using my phone to stream, so I can't. But I just pick up the Kraken app on my phone and I go, okay, yeah, I was filled. Let me, put out a profit target or whatever. So I find I spend less time worrying about my crypto trading than I do my stock trading. So again, I just want to, over the next few months, I think I'm going to be adding more and more money to this crypto account. And again, just trades, no real bias. Crypto could go to 1 million. It could go to 0. I'm just a trader, right? I'm just an analyst and a trader. So I just want to watch them as they go. Same with quantum, right? Quantum, right? I could put out an order above 15 and say, hey, buy me a few thousand of this if it goes. And, if not, just separate. So again, I'm not saying to buy crypto. I never do that stuff. I'm just some guy on the internet. This is not financial advice. Don't listen to me. Who am I? That type of thing. However, I just think you should trade it. I think it's gonna be the way stocks trade in the future as well. This 24-hour no close, no. I think at some point this is the way it's going to happen. So I'm kind of looking at it as a training mechanism as well. How do I learn to make sure that I am able to trade when kind of things happen the way they happen. This Uniswap's interesting here. Right, we got the same kind of, a lot of them have this cup and handle style look, which again is just one of my favorite types of patterns. This thing's in an uptrend, it pulls back, it shows that this may be the low, and then this is kind of catching your second low. And if you are a counter trend trader, that's kind of the way I would suggest trading, is never try to catch the low, but maybe try to catch the second low. And then the beauty of these things is there's no close, so your stop will always work. So Bitcoin, all of crypto there still looks good to me. Right? There's everything in that crypto space still looks great. Just going to go through some of the FX positions. I do have one. I'm short euro in FX. So again, I trade everything. It's just the way I work. I trade. So I'm short euro USD here. I took one short on euro USD as it broke this level. And then I took another short as it failed at this level, and then I'm taking that same short again. So I'm basically just playing off this breakdown just to see if we can kind of get a little push. I need to adapt to trading Forex just because I've noticed it's way choppier. So, you know, that's just kind of the way it goes. But short off prior support. I just trade them. Same with everything. I've got no hardcore investments that I really watch. GBP USD, yeah, this one I'm taking a little bit of a short off of as well. And then this Aussie yen is just wild. Yeah, usually risk off for the whole market when Aussie yen rockets like this, and I'm just gonna draw out this resistance area to watch, right? So if Aussie yen starts pulling off this resistance area right here, that's when I'll look to take a short on that. So again, crypto's looking good. FX is looking good. I think FX is kind of the least interesting to most people, so I kind of skip through that. And now let's go through our equity positions. And again, questions. I like questions. Would you have any interest in the Bitcoin EDF if getting approved, adding to a long-term portfolio, 3 to 5% of holdings? I get not a financial advisor. I'm just some asshole on the internet that some people come and listen to sometimes. Now, that being said, I have some of that, where in Canada, we already have Bitcoin ETFs. They're ETFs based off of Bitcoin futures, and I've done that as well. I've pulled out, whenever I make a big profit in crypto, I've pulled out a little bit of it, and I've put it in these Bitcoin ETFs. The main reason I like to do that, I like to trade the crypto and own the ETF, has to do with, basically I do it in my retirement account. So it's a non-taxable event. If crypto goes to 1 million and this ETF ends up making a crap ton of money, I won't get taxed on that trade. I think it's an asset class now, right? It's had its chance to go to zero. Not saying that it can't. Anything can happen. But if we go to the monthly chart, oh, this doesn't show all of it, but it's crashed like 5 times. Right? It's if it was going to go to zero, I think it would have gone already, kind of thing, right? So I think it's an asset class. Do I think Bitcoin's going to go to 1 million? No. Do I think 100,000 is reasonable? Yeah, 100,000 seems reasonable, but I don't think it's going to go to 1 million or 1 billion or anything insane like that. So, but again, I think if you've got like a split of stocks and bonds and commodities and that, I just think it's just part of one of those, right? It is the way it is. All right. So the SPY today was interesting. So I was watching, and I made a short video about this as well on the SPY, this downtrend line, which also corresponded with this anchored VWAP. So again, if you didn't see the video and you don't know what anchored VWAP is, we can talk about it a little bit later, but it's basically where the average market participant is in the market. So the average participant from this high has been underwater, and you can see how it was resistance in through here and here and here as well. And this is where I kind of made the video saying, hey, this is keeping us down. And when we gapped over it yesterday and just rocketed, it felt like, okay, we're going to get a bit of a run here. Now, that being said, we're still in a range, right? So that's why I put big breakout, but still in a range for all the Stats Edge Pro people who get these, again, the output of this nightly. And one of the things I like to show is this one as well. So this is the comment I put on here on last night. Let's move that, right? We made it out of the first range. Now we need to see if this rip will be sold like all the others. And the first range was this range right here. So we had spent the last, since September, kind of just chopping around in this range where, I had one side of Twitter was saying, this is just a pullback and we're going to hit all-time highs soon. And then the other side of Twitter saying, no, this is it. It's the end of the world. Everything's going to go crazy. My theory, and again, anybody who's part of Pro will tell you, I've been kind of hammering the table for probably a month now that I just think we're going to chop around. And I still think we're going to chop around. And I think today was more of a sell the rip day, right? Where we opened up strong, we ran for most of the day, and then we sold back down. So we sold the rip today. Just like we've been buying the dips down here and we've been selling the rips up here. Now I think we're selling the rips up here. And that's why I keep these support and resistance zones on, because it just shows, reminds people. I think we get a little bit caught up in the minutia every now and then, but these remind people that really since May, the market's just been in this range. And this is the complaint I hear a lot of people saying, oh, the market's up every day. And I get my portfolio's not. And this is the reason why I think, because this is the RSP. If you're new here, I use this as my market barometer because it is a equal weighted index, which essentially just means that instead of it having weights compared to higher cap stocks, it's just they're all weighted 100% equally. And this equal weight has been chopped around here for a long time. So, and the same thing here with IWM. I've got this sleepy face because until we break out of this range, one way or the other, the market is going to be sleepy. So it means that in the notes that I give to everybody, when the market is choppy like this, I'm way more of a give me my profit mood, where it's if I buy a stock and it rips, I'm out of it as quick as I can for profit. If I short a stock and it dips, I'm again out of it as quickly as I can for profit. Every now and then we're getting an upstart, which again I told you that we took. Well, there's the notes right there. I don't know why that didn't come through before, but yeah, with upstart, right? This was kind of what people saw. So as we broke out of this area right here, that's where I bought. And then again, I sold a little bit in through here just because, again, that's kind of what I'm seeing with this topping tail, right? And it happened kind of right at 400. What was the high today? 401.50, right? So 400's being a bit of resistance here. So I'm out of some of this position. I think it's a little bit more than half because really nothing else is moving. So I kind of took that and away I went. Now let's go. These are two charts that I always love, IWO and IWN. And the main difference with this is one is small cap value and one is small cap growth. So it shows you that growth versus value trade where value got hit the hardest, which is this one right here today, but growth never really got off the mat. So I think value is still doing better. Yeah, and this one XLE has been confusing, right? I was like, was this an oops, which for me is just a bull trap when we, put down this big black candle and then we sold off a bit. And then I said, oh no, maybe it's a bull flag because it's holding the short-term moving average. Again, I still think that this is going to be a bit of a choppy mess. XLF finally broke out today. So I was like, is it going to be a good short in this trend line break? You got 2 good days out of it before it reversed. So XLF. So this is no longer valid if I remove that. And that's no longer valid if I remove this. And then I'll remove that as well. And you can see we're just breaking out into new all-time highs. So that's pretty, to me, that's pretty impressive because it's financials. And then I always like to look at this one, which is just the China technology ETF. And that seems to be holding strong. I don't have a lot of faith in China. I think, what was it today? There was one stock that we were looking at that looked good, but I said I'm not gonna, just because it's China. They seem to be actively ripping apart their own economy, so I'm not gonna stand in the way. Again, I don't care about that. I'm a trader, right? I just focus on what the charts are telling me. And last but not gold, I just put gold continues to be the worst investment on earth. And I put that note has been valid since this area right here. I will not, don't at me gold bugs. I know you guys can be insane, but I don't understand people who are still big on gold as an investment when inflation is high. Uh, People think inflation is going to continue to be high. Bitcoin is going nuts and gold is selling off. The one saving grace of gold as an investment, considering that it's, over the last, like, let's go to a monthly chart, over the last 10 years, you've made nothing, right? This is 2011. So if you held gold for a 10-year period, you're down, right? Now, if we go and take a look at the SPY, not including dividends, over the same period, you've doubled your money. So again, but people are supposed to rotate into gold when they think inflation's going to be a thing. Well, inflation's a thing. It's not gonna be. We can see it. It's a thing. It's happening everywhere all the time. And the fact that gold is not paying you when inflation's rampant, if they start raising rates to get inflation under control, I think you're donezo. Right? I just, like, what's the value of it if it's not an inflation hedge? And this is kind of a legitimate question if people have an answer, but if it's not an inflation hedge and it's not a good investment, then why own it? Like, I don't think it's good in computer parts. I don't think it's good in semiconductors. Again, I just think it's going to be one of those things that it's just not. There's no reason for it. So obviously not bullish on gold. Now, for Koifin, I always like to go here, and this is going to be our... Come on. Seems there's now an reverse relationship with gold inflation. Yeah, and it's what most of the gold bugs will tell you when they talk about why they like gold so much. It's, they say, oh, well, yeah, it's not a good investment, but you don't use it as an investment. You use it as a hedge against inflation. So, okay, well, it's not that either, right? It's not being a hedge against inflation. So, what's it doing? I usually like to look at this screen just to see if there's anything here. I've stopped including it every night in my analysis and just do it once a week because there hasn't been anything to glean from it for a while. All this kind of shows me is XLC is the only down industry, which kind of makes sense because XLC is communications, which a lot of people think means traditional communications. But if you go into what it holds, it's mostly Facebook, right? Facebook makes up 20% of the XLC. Facebook's been tanking. Makes sense that the XLC is down. So there's really nothing to glean from that. And then I take a look at the news for, that's the 15th. So tomorrow's the 16th. Sunday's the 17th. And then Monday is the 18th. And there's nothing. So again, this website is Forex Factory. Nothing. Not affiliated with Forex Factory, but yeah, it's just basically I've gone to this website for ages. It just shows you the news for the day and then kind of color codes it based off how important it thinks it's going to be. The only red What I look for is the red one or the dark orange, and it's in AUD, so I don't really care. Uh, you have to use, just like anything, you've got to use your head with this. But again, the way I look at it is all of these things are just nothing that we care about right now. Right now we care about inflation. So markets look bullish. However, I still think everything's going to be range bound. We went over crypto. Crypto looks good. Euro USD and Euro JBP, or sorry, Euro USD and Pound USD look weak. USD CAD, right? CAD is looking weak, which sucks. I hate it because I get paid in Canadian or US dollars, so I want a very weak Canadian dollar, but I guess it's good for everyone else in the country. So basically, right, kind of markets are looking good. Equity markets, again, I think we're going to be choppy. I think we're going to be choppy for the rest of the year. I've been saying that for months. I think it's going to continue. Where I'm going to be wrong, because, what the hell do I know, is kind of a break and a clear of all-time highs. Spending 4 or 5 days above all-time highs might be what we need to continue. Again, I wouldn't be shocked if we sell down a bit and then break up a bit, and then, my theory behind this is that the market's up 20% this year. If you're a giant hedge fund manager, you're selling on rips to lock in some of that profit. And then why we're not tanking is, where the hell would you put your money right now? Like, legitimately. The only things moving are equities and crypto. Interest rates are too low to make anything off bonds. Gold sucks. like, commodities are doing well, like uranium and things like that. So, but when commodities do well, generally so do stocks. So, they call it TINA, which just stands for there is no alternative, right? Where it's just, where do you put your money, right? So now is when I will do chart requests. So if there's any charts that people are interested in, let me know. I'm going to scan, and basically what I scan for is the series of stocks that I'm going to add to or subtract from my watch list. And actually, before I get into that, let me see if there's anything that I just want to take off the watch list because it's no longer valid. Copper, please. Do you have the copper ETF handy? This is where I look to say, hey, is there anything that's invalidated what I'm looking for? And no, just to take them off the ETF. FCX. FCX, a shout out to All Star Charts and Chicago Sean. They did a risk reversal trade on this, which you don't know what it is. It's basically you buy calls and then you sell puts to finance those calls. And they did that in this area right here, on this kind of candle right here. And I think it was the 30 or the 31.5, where basically you buy a call and you sell a put to offset that call. And, geez, so it's an incredibly risky bullish play, because buying a call and selling a put are both bullish actions. So if the thing tanks, right, your call gets worthless and your put you may be assigned. So it's kind of a bottom picking play. And, within a day or two, they were making it a completely risk-free trade. So they've just got free calls that they're riding. This looks good to me. Again, I wouldn't buy an FCX or anything like that here, just because it's gone a little bit too far, too fast. It's gone from 31 to 38. But, it's got this resistance right here at kind of 39. So if it chopped around for a few days and then broke 39, I think that could be your shot. Again, commodities are doing very well as an inflation hedge, just not gold, right? Anything but gold is doing phenomenally as an inflation hedge. But that looks good, and copper looks good as well. And let me just see. Copper ETF. And again, if you guys are interested in the tools that you're seeing me use, whether it be anything over at the TrendSpider side where I do my FX and crypto, or anything on the Trade Ideas side where I do my stocks, go to my website, click on one of those links if you're interested in them. just because it helps out the channel. They're affiliate links, right? So when you buy, it will give a small commission to me. If enough of you do it, then it's something that's kind of worthwhile. So here's the copper ETF, CPER, nearing all-time highs here. So again, I wouldn't just buy anything. As a trader, I can't physically bring myself to buy something that's made a move like this that quickly. So what I think you're looking for is a pullback, say a pullback into the $28 area here, and maybe that might be a place that you'd pick it up. Or a sideways move. If you could get kind of a sideways consolidation for a couple days, then at least you can put your stop. The way I look at buying something like this right now is if I were to buy it right here, my stop would have to go for the stop to be logical on the chart, which for me that has to do. I'd have to buy it at 28 and I'd have to put my stop at 25, which is, like 2 months range, which is just too much for me. So I want to see kind of a tighter technical pattern, but there's no doubt about that it's bullish, right? You can't say that it's that this is a bearish looking move at all. So, keep that in mind. It is looking bullish, but for a trade here, I just don't like it unless it kind of chops around sideways for a bit. I'm going to put you guys up here so you're closer to the camera so it looks like I'm fancy. So yeah, we'll go through and we'll do some scanning. We'll try to figure out what I'm going to go make that short video about. And then I need to go and do that. Get the TI strength alerts unit. The unit was saying that they really like the TI strength alerts from this week, which they're looking good for sure. They're definitely been really, really strong recently for $17. I can't believe. Well, I have this LICY on watch over 12. Now I can add a stop loss to it about 11. I just like, right, this is your cup right here, and then this is your handle. Let me do this and then probably draw it better like this, right? So you got this big cup going on here, and then you've got that sideways bit for your cup and handle play. Over $12, I think we could get going on this one. Again, no idea what they do. And I never know. I never care. I just trade them. AMR is something that's on our list, and I am in some of this. I just like to say that if I'm ever going to make comment on it. However, if this thing can break, I think that's a great little high tight base that we got going on there. Stop has to go under these tails right here. Where's my music, YouTube? Yes, I'm still watching. Keep playing the music. Jerk. I find this is going to be the hardest time to trade or to find things to trade, simply because everything's rallied over the last 4 or 5 days. And so then you're kind of left with a little bit of dilemma, right? You're either chasing, which I just cannot bring myself to do, or if you're not, if you're not chasing, you're buying things that are underperforming, which I hate to do as well. So, you've got this kind of conundrum that I see for myself going to be happening as I go through this scanning. Take two is kind of interesting here. I need more of a range or more of a chop, I think. And it's starting to be that season, right, where you got to watch out for earnings. I love how Trade Ideas does this, where it will highlight this yellow for the earnings date if it's getting close. Like FitB looks very interesting here with financials being strong and all of that, but earnings on the 19th, which is Wednesday, I just can't do it. Yeah, all these resources names are very interesting here. They're either all going to rocket or they're all going to be a colossal failure, which is why I originally took one play at full size, but then I lightened up on that. Now I've got two plays at half size. So some diversification, hopefully. Wells Fargo, nice move. American Express, doing fine. Is that camera picking up this fruit fly? I don't have OBS open. It's annoying. After my Pepsi. Yeah, there is not a lot that I'm seeing. Wow. All right, let's check out the rounded bottom scan to see if there's anything there. And again, if anyone has any chart requests, definitely let me know. One thing you'll notice about me and the Stats Edge people will as well is that I don't force it. If there's nothing for me to add to the watch list, I won't add anything. Like I think all this week there's been maybe one or two stocks to add. And it's just, that's the nature of it, right? Sometimes you find great moves that you want to play, and sometimes you find nothing. And that's all right. The important thing is that you don't let yourself go. There's something that traders do, and again, every time I give an example like this, just know I've done it, and that's why I'm telling you guys about it, where traders get this thing in their head where they say, if I don't trade, I don't make any money. So I got to find something to trade. And that will go away over time because what you learn is, well, if you don't trade, then you don't make money. If you don't trade, you don't lose any money. And also the having the faith of I'll find something eventually helps out a lot. Like I know I'll find a trade at some point next week. So I don't feel the need to kind of go kind of all in and force myself to find something here because, to be honest, I'm not seeing anything. And then the question is, what do I make a video about? Or do I make anything? Because, yeah, these all look bad too. What else do we got? The A table. So these are the highest ranked stocks. Let's actually do that by short float. There we go. So these are really, really heavily shorted names. You're talking 22% short float for GRDX. Oh, this one's kind of interesting. Yeah, I think that's going to be the one. So what is it? 43.50 and then 39. So let us open up GRDX. This is another thing I use. God, I hate being dyslexic. You guys don't understand how much harder this makes the job of trading. There. So yeah, so you got this resistance here, here, and here, and then it was a little bit there, and then that's acting as support here and here. So the $40 is a key level. So you can basically lean off this $40 level, and then at the same time, what you can do is, what I'm looking for is this downtrend line, and if it breaks over this downtrend line, that thing is going to hopefully is going to run a bit because of the, where is it, short float of 22%. So let's just make a note here. Let's draw this in here, and then I'm just going to go Control A. No, that one. No, that one. No? Okay, who cares? Just put that. Do one of them, then one of them, one of these. Hey man, can you short explain what you're looking for? I can't quickly, that's for sure. I've been trading for 20 years now, so I can't just kind of quickly sum it up. But just my overall philosophy on trading is a trend continuation. 39, 22% short. Right, that's kind of my philosophy in trading is I'm not the guy who's trying to get a breakout of, something that's going to be the next whatever stock that's going to triple, quadruple, whatever. I think that's kind of a fool's errand. So for me, more or less, what I do is I look for things that have decently established trends for my time frame. So here's a good example with GDRX right here, where it's gone from 30 to 45. So over kind of my time frame, where's that? Over my time frame right here, you can see this thing's up 45 or so percent in 4 weeks, which is kind of interesting. But now we've recently had a pullback of 17% off its highs. And this thing is now kind of chopping sideways. So the trend is still the same, and the trend will remain intact unless this kind of $40 area breaks. So all I do, and I am probably the most boring trader on planet Earth, because whether it's day trading or swing trading or whatever, is I find a trend that the market's already established, so I don't need to figure it out. And then I try to find a sneaky way to get into that trend that gives me a good risk reward. And that's it, right? So again, I'm not looking to be the guy who buys the thing at 30 and sells it when it doubles. I want to be the guy who buys hopefully right here around 44. And then as it kind of runs into, hopefully, oh, I keep putting those arrows and I don't mean to. Remove that arrow and remove that arrow. What am I looking for? I'm looking for this. All right, so if I can get it at 44, and then even if it just gets to highs, that's a 10%. And, if it gets to 55, well, that's a 25%. I'll take that. And again, the goal is just to find the trend, find the second wave, I guess is the best kind of way to look at it. And the way this was always described to me by one of my trading mentors when I was getting started was the old saying that the early bird gets the worm, but it's the second mouse that gets the cheese. So I want to be the second mouse just to make sure that I'm looking in the direction of the overall trend as a well, it's probably all blurred now, so you can't see it. But I'm a chartered market technician, which is, again, for people who don't know, is a designation like the CFA, except instead of looking at the fundamentals of the company, we are trained to look at the movement of the company. And we know through studies and math and statistics that trends are much more likely to continue than they are to reverse. So, again, just I find a trend. I know that the stats are instantly on my side to trade in the direction of that trend. And then it's just how do I get involved in a way that I can define my risk very, very tightly so that, if I can get a 50% win rate over the length of my career, I'll be happy. Because, I think, it's a fool's errand to try to say, I'm right 70, 80, 90, 100% of the time. I think that's kind of horseshit. It's much better to say, hey, I'm right 60% of the time, but when I'm right, I'm really right. Revolve is interesting here. Let's take a look at this. RVLV. So again, we got a pretty good short float on this. The reason I like high short float stocks, for if people who don't know what a short squeeze are, basically means that 12% of 37 million, 10% of 37 million, so let's call it 4 million shares thereabouts in this name are short. Well, this thing's obviously in a strong uptrend. So at some point, those shorts are going to start getting worried. They're going to have to cover, they have to buy to cover, and that's some pretty good. Hopefully, if they all kind of panic, that will help us out. So ideally, if we can get over 70 here with, say, a stop at 65, I think that's an interesting play as well. Just over, I'm looking at our pro chat there. I think we had Revolve on the list last month. I remember something. I don't know if it was in through here that I was watching it, which again would have been an okay trade, but would have struggled at highs. Maybe that's the only place I could see that I like it. As soon as we get under kind of the 10% short float area, that is about where I'm going to call this one and just take those two. I got to make a screenshot of that. Just take those two because those will be the two at it. And that good RX is, I think, going to be the one I will make a video about. Oh, thanks for the compliments, man. I just read your comments over there. All right, guys, that's all I'm really seeing. MTDR is kind of interesting as well, but that's another resource play, and I've already got 2 resources plays on the go, and we're kind of into this 10% short float area. Ooh, Abercrombie and Fitch. What's the market cap of that? 2.3 billion. That's actually not that huge. Yeah, I like this one as well. And again, just for another example of what I look for, let's go to here. Let's go to ANF. You know, my time frame, I try to hold for a couple days to a week, ideally, right? UPST being a great example of I'm in UPST from in here somewhere 320, 330. Out some of it already today. So I've been in this one for 3 days. If this thing pulls back dramatically, I'll be out. So I'll be 4 or 5 days. RVLV saying I was in from 60 to 64. Well, it's higher than that now. Maybe if I do this, it'll make more sense. September 12th. Just someone in the room is saying that I was watching this one. Oh, that makes sense. So it was just looked like that. So I was looking at that base to break. I didn't trade it, I don't think, but that would have been good. This one I think I like better because it's closer and closer to highs. But yeah, so ANF, right? I look at it and I say, how long do I want to hold? Well, I want to hold for a week, maybe a month. So we get this big strong push up that's about, you know, a couple weeks long, maybe 2 weeks, and then we have about 2 weeks of consolidation. So I think the odds that if we break this, I could get my kind of week or so hold. The reason I like these shorter types of holds is because then I can rebalance my account. So I risk a constant amount on every trade, which is between 1.5, between a half and 1% of the value of my account. So let's say you had a $100,000 account because it's 6 o'clock on a Friday. Makes the math easy. You know, your risk would be between $500 and $1,000. But as the account grows, that percentage amount remains the same, but the dollar amount increases. So if you have a $200,000 account, you're now risking between $1,000 and $2,000 on every given trade, and so on and so forth. So I want to be able to roll into kind of better and better positions, take my money, and then hopefully grow the account, move on to the next one, move on to the next one, and so on and so forth. So ANF, I'm going to watch 40, and then, you know, if it gets under like 37 is going to be where the pattern fails. All right, so I'm going to open her one last time to chart requests. I'll take a look at whatever you guys want to look at for the next few minutes. And if there's nothing, I'm going to go take off. I'll do the short video, and then I'm going to go grab some supper, and probably I'm thinking tomorrow for the Stats Edge Pro guys in here, that's when your blog post will be up. For non-Stats Edge Pro people, come check out my website. Even if you don't want to buy anything, I have, let me show you some free stuff for you guys as well. Come on. Squarespace is like an incredibly slow website for me. Maybe I should use Chrome. Everyone tells me to use Chrome, but I just, as a Mac nerd, I just love the privacy and everything Safari. So let me show you my website a little bit while I wait to see if there's any chart requests. Let me make sure that I have that open. Right, so here's the pro membership. So again, you get access to basically the last hour or so of work that I've done. I do every night. I upload it in like a blog format for everyone to see. Access to my trading tools. This is the affiliate site, which again, if you're interested in trade ideas or TrendSpider and you come here to buy it, it sends me a few bucks. And then I have this, which I think is a really good free offering that will always be free. That's, you know, there's no strings attached to this one at all. I don't even ask for an email or anything. But this is a 39 lesson video course where I sat down. It takes a while to load because they're all videos. Where I sat down with my wife during quarantine and basically taught her trading principles from the ground up. Fundamental analysis, technical analysis, statistical analysis, all the way through to the end where, you know, we're talking about building a trading plan. So again, you can see all of tons and tons and tons, right? So lesson 37, and then tracking trades and starting your trading journal. So again, 39 lessons, each one's like a half hour, give or take. Jeez. Look at contrast that camera quality right there. Damn. But yeah, so check that out if you're a new trader, if you want a kind of a breakup, you can take a look at that. US 30, let's just use the diamonds for that. I would rewind. I did a whole thing on the overall market, but I really strongly believe that the market is going to be in a range that looks something like this for the rest of the year. I'm obviously wrong if we break and hold above these highs, but you know, if you look, we've been choppy since April. And I would be, you know, I would be shocked if, barring some news event, that we break out here. However, you know, a Santa Claus rally, maybe. To be honest, I kind of expect this sideways chop for a while, and then at some point, you have to bet that the breakout is going to be in the direction of the trend, which is higher, right? That's just kind of technical analysis 101. That, you know, generally speaking, whatever way you get a breakout of a range, it's in the direction of the underlying trend, which again, for this one is, which is higher here. Someone asked for CHK. And I think you're already in from around here, and I think that's okay, but man, that's an ugly candle. Opened at highs, closed at lows. What's it doing in the after hours? It's bouncing a little bit here. I think your move's still the same, Sam. I think as long as you're above this area, you stay in, and if not, you get out. But that candle is not a great one. But however, you remember we've done the math of what happens when things close at lows within Stats Edge trading, right? And you know, for the people, this is going to be inside baseball for the last hour trading algorithm. But if you look at that one, right, you close here, you open up here the next day. You look at this one that you close at lows, you open up here the next day. Right? You look at this guy, you close at lows, you open up here the next day. Right? So on and so forth. You got this guy, you close at lows, you open up here the next day. So, you know, it's an ugly candle, right? This one wouldn't have worked. You had a quick shot to take some money off there, but you know, it's an ugly candle because it engulfs the prior day candle. But again, I think if you're sized correctly, you put your stop at 60, 61 bucks and you hold it and you see what happens. As always, you shouldn't have any one trade make you happy or sad. If you do, then you're trading too large and you kind of have to chop that down a bit. But as always, guys, I'm going to take off. If you guys could do me a favor and leave a like on your way out, just hit the like button on your way out the door. That'd be fantastic. I'm gonna do that video right away and upload it about GoodRx. And that will probably go live, I think, tomorrow. And then again, Stats Edge Pro guys, either tonight or tomorrow afternoon, I will get the Stats Edge Pro up because I also have to do TI Strength. So for you TI Strength subscribers, you're gonna have those to your inbox like always on Sunday night. Again, as always, comment, email, tell me what you want to see on this channel. I have the time and the energy to do stuff. I just don't have the ideas. So I always like having ideas. And thank you all, and I will talk to you soon.